What's up, everybody? Here we have Easton Reynolds. He made a post on Facebook. Now, this has to be the biggest simp post of white guilt I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, let's read this. This is an important message post I've ever made in this group. I know this group is a business of photography group, but this is more important. I'm 100 okay if this post upsets you because it is more important that you read this and understand the magnitude of it. Okay. We believe in Black Lives Matter communist organization, which he did not do any research that the founders of BLM are communists. They believe in Marxism. Okay? That's communism. Karl Marx, who is he? The founder of communism. He's also a racist. Funny how Karl Marx did not like black people, but then we have these lunatics in BLM who follow the teachings of Karl Marx, who's a white man, who's a racist, who doesn't like black people. Retarded.
I'm going to wrap everything up after we watch this. So let's take a look real quick. This is Patrisse Cullors. I have no idea how to say her name. She was one of the founders of Black Lives Matter, the organization that is. Look, there's a separation between when people just say Black Lives Matter generically, it's kind of veered off into its own movement just of people that don't even really understand that there is an organization in some cases. But so they're not the exact same. Obviously, they're connected, but they're not the exact same. But we're talking about specifically a founder of one of the three founders of the movement, or the organization, more so, excuse me, in Black Lives Matter. So let's take a look at what she's appearing on some guy's network. I'm not familiar with who this guy is, but she's appearing on this dude's network talking about these different things.
Concerned that there's a lack of perhaps ideological direction in Black Lives Matter that would allow it to fizzle out, as he said, in comparison to Occupy Wall Street. As you are advanced in your own organization, as you all are headed to Cleveland to participate in this Black Lives movement conference, how do you respond to that particular critique? Again, a loving critique from an elder of the struggle that some others share, that I've even shared as well, to be frank, as a concern about, in part because of the co-optation and the appropriation, that a more clear ideological structuring might be of some value here. But how do you respond to those kinds of, again, loving criticism?
And so before she answers, basically what he is asking is, there's people that have been within even this, movement of struggle that has criticized Black Lives Matter in terms of not having really any ideological direction. He's saying like maybe that has to attribute to like people co-opting the movement and making it theirs and their own. And he said that he's criticized this in the past. So one of the founders in Patrisse, she's about to answer that specific question as far as them not having, or this criticism that they don't really have an ideological foundation.
I think that the criticism is helpful. I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super
that's
versed on sort of ideological theories.
So basically, she just flat out said it. That's what they're out, and she mentions Alicia. That's another founder, one of the two. So that's two founders, right? That she didn't mention the other, but two of them are admitting right there, like their ideological foundation. Their ideological foundation is Marxism. The trained Marxists. That's exactly what she just admitted. She just said it. That wasn't a secret. I've long known that, but for those of you that have been on the fence with this, you heard it from the horse's mouth. So this is why it's not actually even a co-op. So even sometimes I misspeak and I kind of suggest that. I don't necessarily just say that. But I kind of allude to it, let's say that. But it's not necessarily a co-op when we talk about these like white leftist communists and so forth. It's not a co-op. That's what they believe in. So all of you crackheads that have been centering your last 2 weeks of your life around donating to this organization, you need to understand what you've been funding. You have been funding Marxism, okay? It's not a secret. There's so many of you guys, including people in my genre, metalcore, hardcore, because everybody's virtue signaling. So they would sell merch, half of the proceeds, if not all of the proceeds, going to where? Black Lives Matter. You are
and I understand you during this time, I want this group to be a safe place for all to grow and learn, regardless of skin color. Who cares about skin color? I mean, if you're cool, you're cool. You're a good person. That's all that matters. Sexual orientation. Now, this clown took his daughter to an LGBT pride parade. And what's going on with LGBT pride? Well, they're pushing transgenderism on kids, mutilating kids. There's so many stories about detransitioning now that, I mean, the stories are horrifying. But again, these people do no research on this. And if you want to know who started that, it was a guy by the name of Dr. Money.
Those of us who dared to express some concern over drag queen story time taking place right across the country, but most recently in Melbourne. And our concerns about what these types of events are doing to our children? Well, have a look at this video taken at a pride rally in Manhattan this weekend. Yeah, they're admitting it. They're coming for your children. Nothing to see here, no problems. Why can't kids be kids? Why is it that drag queens only want to read to young children? Why don't they go to the senior citizens and read to them?
Okay, really horrible person. And there was a little boy who had his penis burnt off, and they tried to convert him to a girl, and it didn't work. And he took a shotgun and blew his head off. You know, horrible thing. Religion and etc. I am aware of my white privilege, and now that I can use my platform to reinforce the voices of POC, now and always I've had to educate myself and make changes in my own life. Well, according to your philosophy, which you do no research, and you are a liberal, and you don't even believe in Christianity, you left it. I know that because you posted that. Like, you're so proud that you left Christianity. First off, it was the Christians, Martin Luther King, and the Christian Republicans who were fighting to get blacks the right to vote. But then the demonic Democrats, Lyndon Johnson, who once they passed the Senate that the blacks got the right to vote, Lyndon Johnson pushed the welfare system on black women, mothers, and that's how they kicked the fathers out. They didn't work out their problems. So that's why we have a huge problem in the black community where a lot of children don't have fathers, thanks to the Democrats. And just like you, who tries to be, your white privilege, well, we know you don't like to advertise in Camden, New Jersey, right? You didn't want people going to your studio, okay? Now, I can understand if you're advertising as a wedding photographer, you don't want to drive into Camden, but you didn't have your studio in Camden. You didn't want anybody to win in Camden. You didn't want any woman to win there and maybe come into your studio and have a nice experience. No, you didn't want to do that. We must come together and fight for equality.
What I'm going to do is actually go up here and hit create multiple new ad sets. Okay, so now that I've got that selected, all of this stuff I'm going to need to change again. Put in Philadelphia, 50 miles. Camden. Oops. Meant to exclude that. Exclude Camden and city only. All right. Then we come down here. 25 to 50.
Really? You really? You want equality. You want fathers in the home. That's what you don't promote. You want to open up a studio. You have kids rapping about their problems. There's a story about a young black man who was opening up a school. They were trying to shut him down and everything, teaching kids how to be mechanics, carpenters, plumbers, farmers, teaching them trade skills that they can use. But you want people to rap about their problems and racism. Stay victimized. We can't stay silent. Not being a racist is only a step one. We must speak up. Okay, for a crackhead that robbed a pregnant woman and then they also beat her while they robbed her. Yeah, George Floyd was involved in that. Okay? Also, there was a white guy that died the same way as George Floyd, but nobody gave a shit because he was white. His name's Tony Tempa. You know who talks about him a lot? The black conservatives, like Officer Tatum. Please hear me out. Black people were enslaved for hundreds of years. When it ended, nothing was done to restore what was taken. Like the Democratic Party pushing the welfare system that got rid of black fathers. Of course, you don't do no research on that because you're a fucking moron. Imagine an entire race of people that weren't able to advance socially, economically, etc. for hundreds of years. Then one day it's over. They are free, or so it seemed. Black people were doing pretty well, okay, before Lyndon Johnson had to screw them over. And they were working their way up. And they were working to a generational wealth. That's when you own a house and so on, and you pass it over to your kids and so on, and then you can sell it, get some money and so on. But yeah, you didn't do no research. So segregation still ran rampant. Redlining started, which limited black people's ability to get mortgages, buy homes. They couldn't shop where we shop, and the list goes on and on. That's not happening anymore. So you're complaining about something that happened a long time ago. Also, black conservatives said, well, you know what? Even back then, they had it better back then with all the BS bullshit that was going on, that was being held up by the Democrats. Okay? And, what would you rather have? A little bit of racism here, but have come from a two-family home, a mother and a father, or today don't have any this stupid shit that you're talking about, where you have kids with no fathers in the home. Of course, you too fucking stupid to see that. And I sent you a fucking email, motherfucker, explaining this, and you fucking ignored it. They had no place to live, no income, no savings, no education, no way to win, no way to break through the bias. This is still true in 2020, and we must rise up. Okay. So, black people used to have really good music. Really, really good music back in the day. Motown, this beautiful music. But then somehow it all turned to fucking shit. So, When you do a little bit of research, you find out who owns the private prison systems. Oh, the record companies. So they demoralize people with rap music, talking about gang violence and hoes and all this other shit. They get people fucked up in the head. People are committing crimes and shit like that. They're low class and so on. They go to prison, whatever. And the record companies are making money when they sell the records and when they go to prison. So I guess you didn't do any research on that. As a white male, if I apply for a job and have the same qualifications as a black man, I will most likely get the job over him. Well, I guess you haven't seen what's going on over at Best Buy. If you're white, you cannot even apply to become a manager or go into the management program. It's only for minorities. See, you have to be fair to everybody, and you are a fucking clown. I understand a lot of you will say you didn't cause slavery or participated in it. This is not the point here. We had the opportunity to level the playing field, and I, for one, am going to take it and run with it. Yeah, I'm a white savior. I invite you to join me. In this industry, 97% of the speakers and educators that get a stage to speak from are white males. It has been my mission for the last 2 years to change the narrative. Okay, I did buy one black photographer's workshop on Creative Live. Some Nikon ambassador. I own a lot of workshops. I don't remember the photographer's name. The reason why I bought it from him because he was passionate photography and I did like his speech. And he is a good headshot photographer. However, and I will be very honest about this, and most of the top photographers, especially in the wedding community, if you get really good, if you go out and you can shoot every weekend, you're going to get very good. And if you come from a high income area, your photos are going to look better. You're going to look better. Your pictures are going to look better if you go in a high end resort to a rinky dink resort. Okay, that's just common sense. Now, the top photographers for wedding photography are white. Does that mean they're better photographers? And if everybody had the same opportunity. Even other white people don't even have that opportunity. The top 3 wedding photographers probably in the world, there's only 3 people you probably have to learn from. It's just what it is, okay? They've just been doing it for 20 years. They're servicing people that are spending $50, $60, $100,000 on a wedding. There's tons of money going out. They can buy all this stuff. And even a lot of other white photographers don't get to that level. Only a small group of people get to that level. And it's just the same thing in sports. If you look at football, the best quarterback, okay, who is he? Tom Brady. Who's the best basketball player? Michael Jordan. There's a lot of black people in basketball, and there's only one guy that got to that level, which was Michael Jordan. Football, there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL and a lot of white quarterbacks, but there's only one guy that was able to do what Tom Brady did, okay? So it's just really a thing, sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time. And these weirdos like to complain about everything, all right? So take it for what it is. I want to invite you to take a step towards helping by signing and sharing this pension that was shared by Dr. Tomari Calvin, blah, 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 industry. Okay, so this doctor, who I've emailed and I trolled a little bit before, Calvin, whatever her name is, she wants to have more black ambassadors to the camel industries. However, she's with Sony, and she's a Sony ambassador. And what does Sony not believe in? Oh yeah, the right to repair your own products. But please, Sony, I please. So she uses George Floyd's death, and she gets a bunch of other black people to become ambassadors, and they get to promote themselves. Sony promotes her. The Fuji guy, I forget his name. Who's another shill saying, "Oh, crop census just as good as full formula, if not better. Oh, it's crop census is so much more affordable. Oh my God!" So what if you have to spend a little bit more money on full frame? You're going to get more work, especially if you're starting out. Especially if you're looking for second shooter work, you're going to be making more money at the beginning. Now, if you want to start off with any system you want, that's your choice. But if you're looking for more work, you're going to have problems. Okay, as second shooters. So that was a lie that he made. And he wasn't honest about it. And in addition, I want to invite you all to use this post to start the discussion. Those of you that have dealt with and still deal with racism, please share your stories so people of privilege can start to understand the racism is still here. I want to hear from all of this. This is affecting you so we can better support you. You are a person of privilege. I want to encourage you to listen and start your journey towards being an ally. I want this to be a safe place where we can all learn from each other and grow. A few rules. Any racist talk, slurs, aggressive behaviors, and get you removed from this group immediately. You will be banned. I am extremely passionate about this and look towards continuing to serve the community. This guy is a simp. He's a soy boy, and he's a fucking clown who does no fucking research on anything. What do we know about these people? One, they love BLM. They don't have a problem with Antifa. They back the LGBT community no matter what, even when they want to go after children. Oh, there's a video out there, and I'll play it probably later. We're coming for your children. And, they love masks. They love the jab. Oh, my 56 7 boot right now, so I won't get sick. Conk. Oh, there's a dead body over there. People don't care about race. The only people that care about race is you fucking idiots. You fucking white soft liberals who will go simp for a fucking crackhead that robbed people, sold drugs to his own fucking community and shit. And I'm going to be very fucking honest right here. When a cop pulls you over, what do? Hands on the wheel. You roll down the window and you say, yes, sir, no, sir. You want to talk to the cop. Now, if you want to say not roll down the window and they want to get a search warrant, that's another story for another day. But too many people are putting up arguments with cops and things don't end well. Of course, he doesn't give a shit about that because he wants to be the savior of the black community. He probably this clown probably dreams about being in one of those movies where they have the white savior. It's like, I'm gonna come and save the black community. As Young Ripper would say, you're a fucking loser.